Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining our Seize the Moment workshop. Today we'll be covering how brands can leverage moments on Reddit, from more Reddity moments like May the 4th to key advertising moments like back to school. Throughout the session, feel free to ask your questions in the Q&A box and we'll get to them at the very end. Later today, we will follow up with a goodie bag email that will include the recording of the session, a copy of this deck, and some additional one sheets. To introduce myself, my name is Kat, and I'm on the channel marketing team where we are focusing on helping advertisers like yourselves understand the value of Reddit ads. With me today, I have two of our subject matter experts who I will let introduce themselves.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa McMaster, and I'm a senior client partner here at Reddit, working with some of our top advertising partners to onboard them onto the platform and find success to meet their marketing goals. One of my favorite subreddits is Listen to This. It's a really great way to find new music and up-and-coming artists on Reddit.
Hi, everybody. I'm Addie Johnson. I am on the business marketing team here at Reddit, and I lead our efforts around seasonal moments. And right now I am rewatching Schitt's Creek, so I am loving all of the discussions threads on r/Schitt's Creek. Just a quick overview of what we'll be walking through today. As Kat mentioned, we will be going through some insights around upcoming seasonal moments, including May the 4th, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and back to school. We will show you guys where these conversations are happening and how you can reach passionate communities around these moments. And then we'll close out with some best practices around how you can effectively activate your brand around moments that matter to you. Just a quick overview of what we mean by seasonal moments before we jump in. So from Super Bowl to holiday to Reddity moments like May the 4th, there's a passionate community for nearly every topic you can think of, and they are having vibrant discussions about each of these moments. And with our seasonal moments program, we look at what makes each moment unique on Reddit and what those kind of audience insights look like, and share that with brands so that they can see how they can activate around each moment. With that, I will pass it over to Melissa to walk through our first moment, May the 4th.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Addie. So I'm going to be taking us through a little bit of our audience insights around our sci-fi communities and the opportunity to own May the 4th on Reddit. So just a brief overview of Sci-Fi Communities by the numbers on Reddit. We see over 24.4 million monthly ads addressable visitors to our top sci-fi communities, which makes up over 224 million monthly views. And we actually have found that 41% of Reddit users follow sci-fi shows or movies. Reddit is fanatical about sci-fi. Reddit users are 93% more likely to be sci-fi fans than users on other social platforms. As you can see here, fans of sci-fi TV or movies index the highest on Reddit compared to the average internet user. And fans are celebrating May the 4th across all the different sci-fi communities, which in turn is increasing the views to sci-fi communities on May the 4th. We actually see a 60% increase in views compared to the month's average. From Star Wars to prequel memes communities, sci-fi conversation is a buzz about the May the 4th. So we see everything from fan creations to user-generated content such as May the 4th memes, to discussions about how Redditors are celebrating May the 4th. And I really like this call out here of a dad who actually every year wakes up his kids to the Weird Al Yoda song and creates different food creations such as Bantha burgers or TII fighter pancakes. Now I'm going to be getting into a little bit of how to activate. So here we're going to be going over our seasonal moments packaging. So this is going to be very similar across the board for all of our different moments. We have tiered them out into 3 different packages. So our seasonal moments packaging includes 3 offerings that you can select from based on your budget and your goals. So the first is high impact, which is our highest tier offering that's going to allow you to make a splash and own the key dates with our widest reaching product. The second is targeted impact, which is a slightly lower point of entry and a combination of takeover and auction products. And then finally, high efficiency is a fully auction-based package with flexible spend. I do want to note that for both high impact and targeted impact, it is required that the campaign is managed by our ad sales team. And for high efficiency, it can be leveraged via self-serve in our Reddit ads auction platform with interest targeting. Now we're going to share some visuals of what exactly these packages entail and the ad products that we suggest for each. So the first for high impact, this is a little visual representation of what it would look like on mobile. So you would actually be owning that top promoted post unit as well as trending unit. So within the high impact package, you would receive a Reddit takeover, which essentially means that you're owning the trending takeover unit as well as front page takeover. For a front page takeover, you are owning the top promoted post, which is our native ad unit, which mimics the look and feel of a user post, as well as the trending carousel on the popular page. So when a user clicks on the May the 4th trend, you will actually be led to a landing page where your brand will be front and center and surrounding all the relevant conversation around this moment on Reddit. In addition, you would also be owning the May the 4th category takeover, which means that you would be owning 100% share of voice within specific Star Wars related communities such as Star Wars and science fiction. Second, we have targeted impact, which is a really great way to drive more targeted awareness. So within the targeted impact package, that includes the May the 4th category takeover, and then a promoted post or video targeting the science fiction interest group. And then finally, we have our high efficiency package, which is, just to surround the conversation with maximum efficiencies, utilizing our promoted post or video unit targeting the science fiction interest group. And with this, it's really flexible on what that price point is, and you are able to actually leverage this within our auction platform yourself. Awesome. So now I'm going to get into Mother's and Father's Day moment on Reddit. Great. So family and relationships communities, by the numbers on Reddit, we see over 73.6 million monthly ads addressable visitors across our family and relationship communities. That makes up 1.2 billion monthly views and 279 million monthly engagements. We have found that mothers find community across Reddit. 30% of Reddit users are actually moms, with 26% of moms on Reddit regularly. Their interests are wide and varied, but we see overall that the top indexing interest groups for moms vary from beauty to comedy to parenting to cooking. Similarly, fathers also find community across Reddit. 23% of Reddit users are dads, with 26% of dads on Reddit regularly. Their interest groups range from gaming to tech, and these are all of our top indexing parent interest groups for dads across Reddit. Conversations about moms, definitely spike in May as people are kind of figuring out what to give and, discussing what they're going to do for their Mother's Day plans. We see overall a 2.6 times increase in conversations about moms during Mother's Day compared to the month's average. Similarly, we see conversations spike about dads in June with a 3-time increase in conversations during Father's Day compared to the month's average. Users turn to communities for Mother's and Father's Day gift advice and research. So you can see here, people flexing on what they're gonna wear on Father's Day. Also, searching to Reddit communities for gift advice and ideas. A really special part about Reddit is that we don't have any influencers on our site. So a lot of users do look at Reddit for product recommendations because they're really trusting what the users are saying. If they're passionate about something, we know that they're actually passionate. And then finally, we see users showing off their Father's Day favorites. For instance, this is in Leather Classifieds showing up his new toiletry bag, which makes for a really solid Father's Day gift and just further exemplifying that, we have all these conversations happening very widely across the site. And then here's a little showcase of where we see Mother's Day conversations happening the most across Reddit. So kind of getting your brain turning for if you guys do want to surround this moment on Reddit, where you should look to target everything from life advice to travel to entertainment. Again, for Father's Day, this is where we see the most mentions about Father's Day across Reddit. So from life advice to cooking to entertainment to arts and crafts. And then finally, how to activate. So similarly to the May the 4th, we have 3 different packages for you guys to utilize. And I'll get into the dates that we recommend surrounding as well as the different ad products. So first, for high impact, we definitely follow that same structure with running a Reddit takeover on Mother's Day as well as on Father's Day, just to make sure that your brand is in the forefront. You're really owning the site, on those specific moments. And then second, for our targeted impact, we do recommend running in the days leading up to Mother's Day as well as Father's Day. So you can really capitalize on that conversation about gift giving, and also owning, specific category takeovers within those top communities that we referenced earlier. And then finally, for high efficiency, we recommend, taking a similar approach with targeting specific interest groups across life advice and parenting, leading up to Mother's Day as well as Father's Day. And this is also, I really want to call this out. A big tip here is to utilize our expanded targeting. So that will kind of look for the top conversations and lookalike audiences for you guys to target. And now I'm going to pass it off to Addie to talk about back to school and the opportunity to own that moment on Reddit.
Thanks, Melissa. So yeah, we'll move forward now as we think about planning farther ahead into the year. Back to school is a really huge moment in Q3, and users are super excited this year since the majority of students have not been in the classroom over the last year. We see that 81% of Reddit users believe that schools will reopen in the fall, and they are really planning to be going back to the classroom. So getting ready with their new wardrobes and school supplies, and really anticipating being back in the classroom. And in terms of conversation, we see that the back to school conversations really pick up in July as students and parents start to think about, what purchases they want to make and how they're going to plan for back to school. And then we see that conversation kind of steadily rise all the way through Labor Day, when the majority of schools go back into session. And these conversations really span a wide range of communities. So we see that 31,000 different communities were talking about back to school last year. And here you can see kind of what those categories of communities look like. So these are our top indexing interest groups for back to school conversations. And again, as Melissa mentioned, these are great places to target when you're thinking about any type of back to school campaign. So you can see that college education is our top indexing group, where communities like r/college are sourcing dorm room tips and tricks. Career planning is another top indexing category, where there's communities like r/career guidance that are giving input on courses and career paths, all the way to some of our kind of electronics and computing communities like r/suggest a laptop, where they are sharing all of the best back to school deals for computers and technology. And users are coming here for this kind of in-depth conversation, and they're coming here to be informed. And with that information, they are actually making decisions. So we see that 1 in 2 Reddit parents and Gen Zers have actually made a back to school purchase decision based on Reddit product research. So we ran a survey with Suzy Analytics across a sample of parent and sort of Gen Z student audience. And this is what we found in terms of, how are they using Reddit for their back to school purchases. And here you can see where they are planning to spend. So in thinking about what categories they will spend on if schools reopen in the fall, both parents and Gen Z say they will be spending across these categories. So office supplies, kind of indexing at the top, but also apparel, electronics, sports equipment, and beauty products are all categories that they plan to spend for back to school. And we have both a active and vibrant parent and student audience. You got a little bit of a glimpse into our parent audience with Mother's and Father's Day. And here we'll focus on students, which is where we really see Reddit kind of over-indexing around back to school. So a quick snapshot of our student audience, you can see that we have students that can't be found on other platforms. So from 14% of Reddit students not on Instagram, all the way up to 53% not on TikTok. And then 27% of Reddit users are Gen Zers. So, that audience is really making up quite a large percentage of Reddit's total sort of platform makeup. And we see that Redditors are more likely to be students than a number of other social platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And these users are really coming here for research that they can trust around back to school. So 1 in 3 say that Reddit helped them confirm their back to school product decision. And 48% say that there are honest discussions on Reddit that help them evaluate which brand or product is best. So, they're really trusting this information and research and using it to make their decisions. And here you can see which categories Gen Zers are planning to use Reddit for in terms of back to school research. So really over-indexing in electronics, apparel, office supplies, dorm room essentials, and beauty products, and planning to come to Reddit to research across these categories ahead of back to school 2021. And we see that Reddit is Gen Zers' #1 place for product research, more so than any of these social platforms, including Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Looking at a little bit of what goes behind that number. So on the discovery side of the journey, we see that 50% of Gen Zers use Reddit to discover new back to school products. And that is higher than any other social platform. 45% use Reddit to compare different products or brands, again, higher than any of those social platforms that we just walked through. And then lastly, once they've made their purchase decision and they have bought the product, they are then leaving reviews. So 48% leave Reddit reviews after their back to school purchase, again, higher than other social platforms. Just looking at kind of what this looks like from a content perspective. So when a user is coming to Reddit to research back to school, what is the type of content that they are looking at? So on the kind of discovery side of the journey, here's an example of a back to school inspiration album in r/female fashion advice, where a user is sharing kind of, some of the looks that they are inspired by for back to school. In more of the kind of comparison phase and considering what product to really buy, we have an example of a user asking for advice about what's the best laptop for me and r/suggest a laptop. And then on the farthest right-hand side, we have an example of a user sharing deals around makeup and other users replying with reviews of what they thought about this particular product in one of our makeup communities. And so how can you as a brand activate around these engaged users who are coming here for research? You'll see again a similar structure with high impact, targeted impact, and high efficiency. So with high impact, really owning the peak of that back to school conversation with our Reddit takeover, which you can see in this visual, as well as a back to school category takeover, which includes communities that over-index for our student and parent audience. So that's communities like r/college or r/teenagers. And then with targeted impact, driving more of a targeted awareness approach in the time frame leading up to back to school. So, where we're really seeing that peak of conversation through the month of August and into September, owning that back to school category takeover in combination with either a promoted post or video targeting top indexing interest groups. So the prior slide we walked through that showed, where are these conversations happening, and that includes college education, life advice, and career planning. And then lastly, our high efficiency package, our most flexible approach where you can, use that promoted post or video in the time frame leading up to back to school, targeting these top indexing interest groups at a budget level that works for you. So that wraps up our insights around our upcoming moments, and I will pass it back over to Melissa to close out with some best practices.
Thanks, Addie. Awesome. So I'm really excited to take you guys through some pretty simple creative best practices to make sure that you're leveraging the best approach when you're thinking about advertising on Reddit during one of these moments. So first and foremost, I really want to reiterate that you guys are able to utilize the creative assets that you're using across other social channels. We just have slight tweaks and recommendations to add so that you can really speak to the Reddit audience and updating that creative to be a little bit more Reddit-fied. So the first tip that we have is to communicate a clear value proposition. Redditors are super savvy. They like to do their research and they don't like to feel like, they're being tricked by a brand. So it's really important to have a very upfront value proposition, either in the actual creative asset, video, or headline. Second is using an authentic and conversational tone. Reddit is a platform where people are sharing their passion points and their interests, and we really want you to be a part of that conversation. So using a very authentic and conversational tone within your copy will really help kind of relate to the Redditors across our site. Third is playing with humor and cultural references. We are the front page of the internet. A lot of memes were created on Reddit, such as Grumpy Cat. Not sure if you guys remember that from years past. So it's really fun to kind of play within that space if you're able to, if your brand allows it, to play with that humor and cultural references. Fourth, demonstrating your knowledge of Reddit. Even if you're not a huge Redditor, there are very simple things that we can do to kind of make Redditors think that you are. So we do have our own language on Reddit, which is made up of various acronyms, pretty simple. So some of those include TIL, Today I Learned, ELI5, Explain Like I'm 5, little teeny tweaks there to the copy to really make Redditors be like, oh, okay, this brand knows what they're talking about. And then finally, we have our last tip, which is using moment-specific language and experimenting with longer headlines. Redditors actually read ads. They like information. So, definitely experiment there. Write a longer headline than you might, compared to another social channel. And definitely, of course, always try to bring it back to that moment that's either the Reddit moment, like May the 4th, or just, a moment such as Mother's Day, Father's Day, or back to school. And now we are going to kick off questions, Q&A. So as we say at Reddit, AMA, ask us anything. We'd love to answer any questions that you guys might have.
All right. Let's see, got a lot of good ones here. Thanks so much, you guys. Feel free to continue to ask and we'll try to get to all of them. If we can't get to some, we will answer them in a follow-up, maybe in a Reddit post or in an email. Let's see, first one here. We've got, how do we get in touch with a direct sales team member? I can take that. So if you don't already have an account person, a salesperson, I will send out a contact us sales form so you guys can fill that out and have someone reach out to you. Yeah, that'll be in the follow-up email. Okay, and let's see. As a frequent Reddit user, how do you recommend advertisers to integrate with communities before timely opportunities?
Sure, I can take that one. Great question, Ashley. You've had some awesome questions in there that I love. So first and foremost, we definitely recommend starting to build your presence, as early as possible on Reddit so that users can familiarize themselves with your brand and your product offering. And we have a variety of different ways that you can actually target specific communities. So on the paid level, you can start, by running ads within the communities that are most endemic to your brand. But beyond that, if you're talking, I know you had some questions that were like a little organic based too. We do have organic best practices. As you know, self-promotion is not allowed on Reddit, which is why the safest place for brands to play in is through a promoted post, which is our ad unit. But if there are, value propositions that you offer to communities, maybe you want to run an AMA in a specific community or something like that, we can definitely send over best practices there as well in our follow-ups.
Thank you, Melissa. Next one. Do you see the most conversations happening the day of the moment or the day after?
Yeah, I can take that one. So it definitely varies by moment. So we see, depending on the vertical or what the moment is specifically, that conversation volume kind of fluctuates. We do see conversation typically before, during, and after across every moment, leading up. A lot of talks about planning and celebrating, kind of then in the moment talking about what they're doing. And then there's a lot of post conversation about what happened. In the follow-up, you guys will get access to all of this content. And so within each one of the moment segments, we've kind of highlighted what the key dates are for that specific moment.
Thank you, Addie. Okay, so this one says, what does that mean, no influencers? I think that was referencing a specific part of the deck, but Melissa, I think you know the answer to this one.
Yeah, definitely. So Reddit is a little bit different than other social platforms, as your user profile is not tied to your actual identity. Therefore, we do not have actual influencers on our site. We like to think of our communities actually as being influencers, because these are influencing the trends across Reddit. Also, kind of speaking back to my point earlier in the presentation, because you're not tied to your identity and it's, anonymous, you can really trust the user's opinions that they're sharing because it's not tied back to them trying to promote themselves, which we see across other social channels in the influencer time that we're in.
Thank you. How about this one? Should comments be turned on? How are comments moderated in a promoted post? We get this one pretty often, huh?
Yeah, I can take that. So for comments, first and foremost, you have the ability to turn off comments. So you definitely do not need to run a campaign that's comments on. If you want to direct a user right back to your site and get that conversion as quickly as possible. That said, I love it when brands interact with our users, and definitely we can have comments on if you are asking, maybe Redditors a specific question. And I think that's a great way to engage. If we do run with comments on, we do have moderation tools on the back end to help you. So don't worry, it's not like the wild, wild west. We do have brand safety tools, and that includes what we call auto moderator, where you can actually manually approve every single comment that comes in. You also own that ad unit space, so you can always delete or block users if they are not abiding by the rules within your ad, which typically we have standard rules of, no NSFW language, no harassing, and things like that.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. What should we do next? We've got so many. This is awesome. Okay, will Reddit be upgrading the level of detail in the reporting for us over the next quarters? If so, in what way? Well, I can't tell you everything. Don't want to give all the secrets away, but we're definitely working on stuff that will make it a lot easier for advertisers to get in there and make a campaign easier. So we've got great dashboard improvements, we've got reporting improvements, but if you actually want to ask a PMM, maybe you should join this plug, shameless, join our session tomorrow, which is a deep dive into new products. And in that session, it'll be hosted by 2 of our PMMs. So maybe I'll sneak this question in, but if you want to come in and ask, feel free to. Yeah, and then next, can conversation data be further segmented by audience type?
I can take that one. So because Reddit is anonymous and kind of the nature of the platform, we actually don't collect like demographic information on users. So we can't do that in kind of like a scalable way, but we do, you'll see in these slides in the goodie bag, like we are able to kind of segment in the way that looking at specific communities, something like in the back to school example, like r/teenagers, you can feel confident by the community itself that you kind of know who you're reaching. But yeah, our segmentation is we're more focused on kind of topics of conversation and communities. Just that's the way that the platform is kind of structured.
You. Let's see. Do you have a master list of acronyms, or what will be in that goodie bag? Okay, so I can tell you a little bit about the goodie bag. So it will have a recording So you'll be able to watch this over again if you want to. We'll also have a copy of the deck so that you guys can browse through at your own speed. I will definitely add in a master list of acronyms since you guys asked for it. And I'll kind of browse through these questions, and anything that we've kind of like alluded to, a help article or something, I will send it in that email as well. But yeah, great question. Let's see. I found that, here's one from Cece. I found that Reddit conversion rates tend to be lower than on other channels. Are there best practices here?
I can take that, I guess. I mean, I'd be interested to hear, about your specific campaigns, but we definitely have best practices for lower funnel campaigns. And it can be everything from creative, maybe needs to be tweaked a little bit, to implementing our pixel to make sure that we're having a more clear, holistic view of what the results are. So we can definitely, we have case studies as well as best practices for our performance direct response campaigns that I will note. Let's send these. So CC has them for Kat and the follow-up.
Martin also asked about best practices. He's asking for reach, traffic, etc., and sample ad styles. So yeah, also in our brains to remember to send over some Reddit help articles that have best practices, but also another shameless plug, we have a mastering copy and creative workshop on Friday at the same time. So I think that will have a lot of great stuff. So definitely want to tune in for that. And that one isn't going to be recorded because we hold those every quarter. So if you can't make it on Friday, don't worry. We'll hold them regularly. So you'll be able to tune in when you do have free time. Okay. And I think we covered this one too. Someone had asked if there was going to be a video of the session. So yes, in the goodie bag email, you will receive that as well. Okay, we've got, I'm trying to go by popular. So we've got one from Jesse Daniel Amos. Is there any possibility for location-specific targeting, or is that only in the location-specific communities?
Great question, Jesse. So we actually do have location targeting capabilities up to the DMA level in the US, as well as our rolling out DMA level in Canada. So that's happening right now. And then we have the ability to target international countries as well. So there's definitely options there to get a little bit more granular with your location targeting.
Okay, ooh, we have one about AMAs. Okay, from Sloan. Have you found success with founders of businesses doing AMAs?
Yes, definitely. I totally recommend doing that. I can think of a few on the top of my head, but we've had, really great founders of like beauty companies, tech companies, startups coming in and doing AMAs. And it's just really great because it offers our communities the opportunity to ask, someone questions that they wouldn't ever have like the ability to interact with. I know right now I'm running an AMA. If you want to check it out, I'm with the CEO of Qualcomm, and he's answering everything about 5G, and I'm, addressing all the questions there, since I know that there's like a lot of conspiracy theories out there right now about 5G, and it's, just really cool to be able to give, Redditors a unique perspective and point of view.
Yeah, I personally love those AMA ones, and there's some great case studies that I can share in a follow-up to share other people or other advertisers that have done AMA as well. Okay, here we have one about small businesses from Tracy Tilley. Do you have opportunities for small businesses?
I can take that one. I would say, so when we're thinking about these moments and packages specifically, that high efficiency package is meant to be super scalable and kind of directional in terms of how can you reach these passionate communities talking about these different moments. So with that high efficiency package, you can really select whatever budget level makes sense for you and makes sense for your business.
Got one from Martin. How can we best advertise in multiple communities and see their performance without having an individual ad in every community?
Yeah, great question and great news for you. Our ads platform lets you target multiple communities at once, so you don't have to create a specific ad group for every single specific subreddit. We also have interest group targeting, which is based off of our users' browsing behavior, where they are commenting, where they're posting, where they're subscribed to. So we've created these larger interest groups to really expand your reach across our site.
Nice. How about, I'm trying to think, I did see two questions about targeting senior citizens or 50 plus. So we'll combine that. But I will say that for Reddit, while we do have the ability to do, I think, third party to target age, I think the main thing is that you want to target based on interest. That's where we really shine at Reddit. And yes, you have a specific age range, but here is where, sometimes I think I like things that 50-plus-year-old people like, So, I mean, I don't know if you, Melissa or Addie, have more to add to that, but I think here at Reddit, the community and interest targeting is really where we shine. Not that you can't target age, but I think if you want to dive into interest, it might be more valuable.
Yeah, I would just add on, I think that goes back to the question too around segmenting conversation by audience. We really do lean more into kind of topics and interests and, where people are gathering around things they're passionate about. We also do have some top level sort of demographic information in terms of what our age breakdown looks like on our Reddit Inc. site. So maybe we can include a link to that just so you can get an idea of what that audience looks like that you are looking for.
Thank you. Okay. I see another one here that I can take about iOS 14 plus concerns with tracking conversions. Yes, that is a thing that we have prepared for with the SK Ad network. So I will follow up in the email with an help article where we have, one of our PMMs has gone through a whole list of kind of like how to prepare for this new change. But yes, we're definitely thinking about that. Here's one here from Lenny. Are these the only events available for the year? What about Nurses Month, Teachers Week, and so on?
I can take that one. So we do have a whole list of moments throughout the year. I think we have almost 30 or 40 moments that we put together insights and packaging around, like you saw today. And we have a larger calendar where you can see what all of those moments are that we are kind of planning around and tracking towards here at Reddit. So maybe another thing we can include in the follow-up.
Okay, mental note. I'm gonna have to watch this thing again, make sure I got it all. Okay, here's one from John Swift. I joined Reddit to learn and it was eye-opening. That's why that wasn't a question. But yes, thumbs up. That's why you're here and you highly recommend it. Thanks, John. Let's see. Okay, let me try to see if there's ones that a few. How would my company promote a hackathon on Reddit or kind of like a specific event for our company?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we have a lot of different options there. I mean, you can promote it with any of our ad units, I would say. On the bigger splashier level, we do have trending takeover where you own like that specific trend unit in the top carousel on our popular page. We also, have the ability for you to run category takeovers within specific subreddits that maybe are most applicable to that hackathon. And we also have the ability to run like a mega threads. That could be, something that you could look into where you are having, one giant mega thread as a home place to discuss this hackathon. So there's definitely a ton of different options. And if you're interested in promoting an upcoming hackathon, I definitely recommend hitting up the contact us form that Kat's going to include in our follow-up so we can have, a rep reach out to you with best practices there.
Okay, we have another most thumbs up one about best practices for B2B ads. What are they?
Well, it's good timing because we are just launching our B2B playbook. So I don't want to like steal the thunder there too much. But I believe that that will be available on our Reddit Inc. advertising site that I totally recommend you guys hitting up. So just, redditinc.com, and that's going to have all of our really great glossary of best practices, case studies, and in particular, we'll have some B2B things there as well.
Yes. Let's see. Wow, so many questions, you guys. I love this. Okay, we'll see how far we can get into them. But like I said, if we can't answer all of them, we'll definitely do a follow-up in the Reddit ads post and answer the ones that we haven't yet. Especially some of the more specific ones that, yeah. Okay, here is one from Justin Brown. Is there a Reddit Shopify integration feature? I'm wondering if this is about the Pixel or no, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have a direct integration yet. I am going to plug Kat's meeting, the product webinar tomorrow, because you should ask that. Like, that's definitely one of our top requests. And it is, on our roadmap for this year. So maybe the more that they hear it from advertisers like you, the more we can surface this to the top.
Great idea. Yes, definitely bring that to the session tomorrow. We've got 2 PMMs that are working on our products that will be there to present and share their products that they've actually hands-on created. So that'll be really cool. Okay, we have one from CC. How do the Reddit takeover packages work if you have a specific audience you want to target?
I can take that one. So with the Reddit takeover, the intent of that package and product offering is really if you want to make a big splash and be seen on the front page and know that your ad is kind of front and center on Reddit. If you want a more targeted approach, we would actually recommend, in the context of these moments, the targeted impact package or even high efficiency. So with the targeted impact packaging, that is allowing you to target a specific group of communities. So in the example of, let's say, May the 4th, rather than taking over the full front page where you're front and center for every user, you would be taking over a collection of communities specific to sci-fi. So to your question, I think that would kind of fill that need of wanting to target a more specific group of communities or conversation.
Thanks, Addie. Okay. Let's see. Do you recommend combining community and interest targeting for reaching students or set audience, or put them into separate ad sets?
That is a really good question. I would recommend on the technical back end to separate those 2 ad groups out just so we can A/B test the results. And it just makes it a little bit easier for you in breaking out and reporting. I mean, you can group it together, but I would say best practice there is typically to separate community versus interest, because then you can really see the reach that you're getting specifically between the 2.
Okay, we've got one that's got 3 thumbs up. So where can we go to find the social graph of Reddit, i.e. if a user is on r/gaming, what other subreddits would the user visit?
Yeah, so we don't have a public facing social graph right now. We are working on an external tool for this year. I will say that we are able to pull that for you on the back end. So if you're interested, definitely contact us through that form, and we can definitely provide that information for you.
All right, here's another one from Ashley, our superstar question asker. Is there any way to target super small communities? I've had trouble in the past getting hyper-specific subreddits.
Yeah, so sorry, Addie, were you going to take it?
You can go ahead. I'll add on if there's other things. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say there's a reason that we don't have every single subreddit available, just because due to size, we don't whitelist, subreddits that are under a specific amount. But we are continually adding more communities to our allow list. And there is a way for you to request that on our site. So Ashley, you have like a lot of awesome questions. So if you want to add me on LinkedIn, I send that link to you. And, definitely happy to help there because, our policy team is super open to like looking at adding more subreddits. It's just that when they're below a certain threshold, it's just automatically grouped into not our allow list.
Also, another plug for our LinkedIn. We also have a Reddit for Business LinkedIn page where we post a ton of great one-sheets, some case studies. So definitely follow that. I'll include it in the follow-up email, but that's another way to get some cool announcements. I also talk about the different events and workshops we're going to hold, as well as, lots of great stuff. Let's see. Is there a minimum cost to buy each of these packages?
Yeah, I can take that one. So for the high impact and targeted impact packages, like Melissa mentioned, those do have to be purchased through a managed buy. So you can get more details. We'll share a contact form if you don't have a Reddit sales rep. And if you do, you can reach out and get the specific details on what the minimum buys are there. And then for the high efficiency packages, those are much more flexible and are more kind of suggestions around how to target and reach these communities and conversations. And so there is not a minimum buy there. It's more, flexible spend in terms of what you have to put against that particular campaign.
All right. Let's see. Trying to go through some of these that you guys are talking to each other, which I love. Maybe I should open up the chat box so you guys can also talk to each other there, maybe for the next one. I see two that are pretty specific, might be from the same anonymous person. Might be a little specific though, but is there any data or information regarding the early education space on Reddit? And then there's also this question about, are there any insights into purchase decisions for software at the school admin level? It's pretty specific, but I'll open it up to you guys.
I can take that. I think that is a pretty hyper specific request. So we don't have anything offhand in this information, but we can see if there's anything we can add to the follow-up. But yeah, the insights that we have included are kind of more focused on the broader trends that we see and where we see, over indexing. And so we don't have that in this particular deck, but can follow up and see if there's anything we can add.
Sounds good. Here's one from Cece. How do you recommend engaging users who hate seeing ads on Reddit?
Yeah, sure. First and foremost, like we run many studies with our audience, and like I sell ads and nobody loves ads. Let's be real. We can level set there. And through our studies, it's not rocket science, but we've figured out that Redditors do not hate ads, but they do not like ads that are not applicable towards them. So that's why targeting is really important. So being, really deliberate about where you are targeting for the products that you are advertising, just to make sure that you're hitting, the right eyeballs. And so, there right then is like the baseline of how we, recommend handling that, because no one's going to hate your ad if it's something that they are actually interested in. But beyond that, I would say like have fun, play with humor. Redditors love it when brands kind of have their own voice and can make fun of themselves. I don't know, like there's a joke, fellow kids. I don't know if you guys have seen the meme, like, hey, what's up, fellow kids? Where, Steve Buscemi's like, looks, he's like older and he's pretending to be a teenager with a skateboard, but kind of playing with that and just having a little fun, like, hey, I know everyone hates ads, but hey, I got to sell something and I've got to make a career and here you go. So I think, that's a really good way to kind of play with humor and play with cultural references can make Redditors, really respect you in the space.
Yep, and Friday, there's Mastering Coffee and Creative, so definitely tune in for some awesome best practices there. But yeah, let's see. Here's one from CC. Do you recommend brands participate in live streaming on Reddit?
Yeah, definitely. So we have our pan, which is Reddit's live streaming product. We do not monetize it right now, but if you guys want to organically, participate in live stream, I think that's totally fine, and you totally should. And we'll definitely keep you guys posted when we hopefully will monetize it and have ads there.
I see another question about comments. I think we answered that already, but I guess just to, okay. Do you recommend brands authorize comments? If so, how to prepare with conversation/engagement?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I like totally.
Do you recommend brands authorize comments? If so, how do you prepare with conversations and engagement?
Yes, great question. I think we kind of addressed this earlier, but if you do want to run a campaign that's comments on, I definitely say, go for it. That said, we would just recommend having that headline really be asking Redditors for a question and a drive to action for why you want them to engage. So versus just posting something and being like, hey, I'm having a 50% off sale selling X, Y, and Z, it'd be more like, hey, what's your, if I'm a dog company, what's your favorite training treats, for your puppy that you found success with, or tips that you might have. And that's a really great way to incentivize users to comment and actually have a productive conversation versus just trying to sell something.
Okay, I'll take this next one from Martin. Are ads that are hidden by ad blockers counted as impressions with our ads? We get this quite often, but I have a great Reddit help article that explains it very well about third-party tracking compared to Reddit ads tracking. So stay tuned for that. It's a great help article, and it'll totally answer your question. Let's see. Okay. How feasible is it to target specific subreddits with lower CPMs that have high overlaps with big popular subreddits? Okay, do you guys?
Yeah, I think we would maybe need a little more detail on that question, but I think we would say we definitely do recommend leaning into interest group targeting, because that's where you're going to find the best scale, and you will find more efficient eCPMs. If you're trying to target really hyper specific communities, one, you're probably missing out on a lot of the audience that might be interested in that topic, even if it's not the very specific community you're focused on. And secondly, you will be able to find a lot more efficiency by leaning into interest targeting.
Here's one. Could you offer a specific community-specific discount code directly to moderators as a secret shopper sort of campaign?
That is such an interesting question, and it's not something that we've done before. My caveat is that I'm always hesitant to tell a brand to reach out to moderators. So I would say that is not a best practice, because it could end up backfiring on you if the moderator feels like you're trying to sell them something. So I would recommend, if that's something you're interested in, because I like where your head is at here. I just would caveat, be careful about reaching out directly from a brand username. But I think that there's something to be said with a promo code, maybe for specific communities. So maybe you could incentivize hey, tech lovers, I'm using this is not a real, hey, tech lovers, I've got 30% off just for you Redditors. And then you can have a code that way. That's probably an easier way to do that.
I see another question about best performing campaigns. So what's an example of best performing campaigns around these moments? I feel like we can send some case studies or success stories. So yeah, I think we have some. So I'll be sure to send that in the wrap up recap email. All right, let's see. With 80% spend in office supplies, does that mean regular office workers resupplying or just students with pens?
I can take that one. So the data and insights around back to school were based off of a survey run across both students and parents on Reddit. So when we're talking about any of those categories, that is referencing either students or parents who are looking to buy in that category. So for office supplies, it would be, looking to get school supplies as a student, or for parents, buying those back to school supplies for kids.
Thank you for that data clarification point. Okay, last minute, but I saw one come in from Jessie that I think is a great one about interest targeting and targeting the individual. So when you use interest targeting, do you target the individual no matter what community they're going onto in a given day? I think you guys know where this one's going. Melissa, do you want to kind of explain our interest targeting, how it's not targeting a person? Yeah.
Yeah, no, but interest targeting is targeting our users. So it's targeting users based on, no. It is targeting users based off of like their interactions on Reddit. So instead of thinking of it so contextually, like I am going to target the tech interest group, it's not going to be just only targeting those top tech interest subreddits. It's also going to be targeting, users more broadly across, people who are interacting with tech communities if they're posting, and it will follow them across Reddit. So it's broader, if that makes sense.
Sorry, I totally mixed that up. That was like the important punchline. But yeah, you're targeting the person as they're going throughout Reddit. So, if you're into cameras, you're still into cameras, even though you're browsing r/all, you know what I mean? So yeah. Okay, you guys, we have so many more questions that we didn't get to, but I think Melissa and Addie need a glass of water and to take a break. So we will have to end here, but we will follow up and answer the rest of the questions in either a Reddit ads post or in a follow-up. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for participating, engaging, and maybe see you guys at tomorrow's session or Friday's session. But yeah, thanks again, and see you next time.
Yeah, thank you guys.